Hi friends, my name is Nandita. I am from Andhra Pradesh.
Children, let us discuss in detail about basketball. Let us see who invented the basketball. 1. Basketball is built into fabric of Springfield College. The game was invented by Springfield College instructor and graduated students James Nismith in 1891 and has grown into the world athletic phenomena we know it to be today. Children, let us discuss the history of basketball. Basketball was invented by James Naismith in Springfield, Massachusetts. The year was 1891, and as the story goes, Naismith was asked to come up with an indoor game that offered fewer injuries than classic American gridiron of football. So he came up with 9-on-9 game that involved shooting a ball into a pitch basket. Children, let us discuss the objectives of basketball. The main objective of basketball is to make a goal or score points. A goal is made by shooting the ball or throw the basket or hoop. The goal post or basket for a team is in the opponent court. Dr. James Smith's originally 13 rules for the basketball. Let us see in detail. The first rule is the ball may be thrown in any direction with one or both hands. And the second one is the ball may be batted in any direction with one or two hands and never with the wrist. A player cannot run with the ball. The player must throw it from the spot on which he catches it. Allowance to be made for a man who catches the ball when running at a good speed if he tries to stop. The fourth rule is the ball must be held in or between the hands. The arms or body must be used for holding it. And the fifth rule is no shouldering, holding, pushing, tripping, or striking in any ways the person of an opponent shall be allowed. The first infringement of this rule is by any player shall count as a foul. The second shall disqualify him until the next goal is made, or if there was an evident intent to injure the person for the whole of the game, no substitute allowed. The sixth rule is a foul is striking at the ball with the wrist, violation of rules 3, 4 and such as described in rule 5. The seventh rule is if either sides make 3 consecutive fouls, it shall count a goal for the opponents. Consecutive means without the opponents in the meantime taking a foul. The eighth rule is a goal shall be made when the ball is thrown better from the grounds into the basket and stays there, providing those defending the goal do not touch or disturb the goal. If the ball rests on the edges and the opponent moves the basket, it shall count as a goal. The ninth rule is when the ball goes out of the bounds, it shall be thrown into the field of the play by the person first touching it. In case of dispute, the umpire shall throw it straight into the field. The thrower in is allowed 5 seconds. If he holds it longer, it shall go to the opponents. If any side persists in delaying the game, the umpire shall call a foul on that side. 10th rule. The umpire shall be judge of the man and shall note the fouls and notify the referee when 3 constructive fouls have been made. He shall have a power to disqualify a man according to rule 5. Now let us see rule 7. The referee shall be judge of the ball and shall decide when the ball is in play in bounds to which side it belongs and shall keep the time. She shall decide when a goal has been made and keep account of the goals with any other duties that are usually performed by referee. Let us discuss about 12th rule. The time shall be 2 15 minutes halves with 5 minutes rest between. And the 13th rule is the side making the most goals in that time shall be declared the winner. In case of a draw, the game may be of the captains be continued until another goal is made. The first game of the basketball ever played on 21st December 1891 at MYCA Training School in Springfield, Massachusetts. The gym was incredibly small, only 50 feet into 35 feet compared to current day court which are 94 feet to 53 feet. Naismith arrived early that day. A little did he know he was about to create the basketball history. After posting the 13 rules of basketball on the bulletin board of the gym, he then nailed a pitch basket to the lower rail of the balcony on both ends of the gym. When the players arrived, Smith split his 18 students into two teams of 9 players and done his best to teach them the 13 rules of the basketball. Let us discuss about the official rules. The officials are in complete charge of the game. Their judgment is not to be questioned or challenged in any way. The captain of each team are the only individual allowed to speak with the officials throughout the course of the game. Now let us see what is player conduct. All the players are to conduct themselves in an appropriate and sportsmanlike fashion. No player has the right to verbally or physically abuse officials, scores, or other players. And the third rule is the captain is responsible for the actions of each of his teammates. Should anyone on the teammate get into the fight, that a player's team will forfeit their season and lose their eligibility for the playoffs. And now let us see what are player eligibilities. Children, all current student, faculty, staff and fordham alumni are eligible to play. IDS must be presented when asked for. And the second rule is player may be only participant in one co-rec team and one men or one women team. You cannot play on two men or two women's teams. Failure to comply with this rule will result in the forfeit for each of the games that offending person was involved in it. Now let us discuss the rules of number of players and substitutions. Children, there is a maximum number of 5 players on the floor at on time. A minimum of 3 may finish a game. You must have at least 4 players to start a game. So the second rule is scoring team must have 2 females on the court at all the times. And third rule is substitution may only be made when there is a dead ball situation. Substitutes must notify the officials when they want to enter a game. Start of game and game time. A 5-minute grace period from the scheduled starting time will be allowed before for a forfeit it is declared. The referee watch is the official timepiece. And the second rule is games are played with 220 minutes half it will be running time excepted for the last 2 minutes of the second half when the clock will be stopped for all dead balls. And the third one is half time will be 2 minutes. Each team will get 2 to 30 seconds timeouts per half hour. Timeouts do not carry over. Now let us discuss about overtime games. There is no overtime period during this regular season. In the event that regulation play ends and a tie during playoffs, there will be a 5 minutes over a period time. The second and any other overtime periods will be 2 minutes means running time until the winner is determined. And the third rule is overtime periods will be begin with a jump ball. Alternating positions will be used after the tip. And the fourth rule is only 130-second timeout may be called in overtime. Children, now let us discuss about fouls in the game. So there are three types of fouls in basketball. One is personal fouls, second one is team fouls, and third one is flagrant fouls. So let us discuss about personal fouls. A personal fouls. A player will be allowed 5 fouls. After receiving the 5th foul, the player should remove themselves from the game. And technically, fouls will count as personal fouls. 2 technical fouls will result in an automatic rejection. Now let us discuss about team fouls. When a team commits its 7th person foul in the half, the opposing team will be in the bonus situation. The result of this will be the awarding of 1 end and 1 free throws for each foul that is committed, excluding shooting fouls means 2 shots of offensive fouls. Now let us discuss the flagrant foul. Any attempt of deliberately hurt or injure another player will carry the same penalty as the technical foul, except the player committing the foul will be suspended for at least 1 league game and the maximum of the entire. Children, once again study in detail about basic playing rules of basketball. So no offensive player may remains in the foul line for more than 3 seconds, and second rule is dunking will be allowed in an intramural games, but any attempt to hang on the rim will result in an automatic technical foul, means this is not a personal foul. And the third rule is only the captain may discuss an official calls, and the fourth one is nets, wire and other obstacles are not out of the bonds. So children, these are some of the common rules of basketball. Now let us discuss about indoor and outdoor game. Children, let us see the games that we play are 2 types. One is indoor games and second one is outdoor games. Now let us come to discuss about indoor games. Indoor games means the games which we can play under covered area or indoor stadia are known as indoor games, like business, chess, checker, badminton, caroms, playing card, ludo, computer games, swimming and boxing. Children, chess checker is an also indoor games, can be played by 2 members. Many members can participate in swimming, and caroms can be played by 2 to 4 members. Ludo is also an indoor game, it can be played by 2 to 4 members. Playing card also are an indoor game, it can be played by 2 to 4 members. These all are the some examples of indoor games, children. Now let us discuss about outdoor games. Outdoor games are those which are played in open area and a specific playground. So these are called as outdoor games. Examples like kabaddi, kho, badminton, volleyball, cricket, football, hockey, basketball, etc. Children, should the games of boys and girls are different, or let us discuss. No, I think there should not be much different in the games of boys and girls. Yes, girls are also very competent, hardworking, and they can also take challenges very well. Today there is hardly any field in which the girls have not proven themselves. Thus, the girls and boys should be treated properly. Yes. Now let us see then what is the difference between playing for yourself and for the team. Yes, children, there is a lot of difference between in playing for yourself and for your team. When we are playing for our own self, we just think for our own victory. Yes, we try to prove ourselves excellent and better than others. When we play together and work hard to see the victory of the whole team and get prized. So there is a huge difference between playing for myself and for the team. When we play for oneself, there is no competitive or nor there any fun. But when we are playing in a team of members, we can enjoy a lot. We learn how to play, and then there would be a healthy competition also. So you already know that you and sometimes your manager have your own purpose and goals to have and improve on, such as working on their own sports skills, mental skills, etc. Yes, this comes under the individual accountability. You are responsible for your own performance, outcome, challenges, rules, responsibilities, and tasks. Now let us see the difference of team sports. A team have its own focused team goal, children, and purpose to have shared by team captain, leader by the end of the section or a day, etc. Individually and mutual accountability is available. Whole team is responsible for the performance of outcome, challenges, roles, and responsibles for the task. Children, these roles and responsibilities of the tasks helps each other to achieve the main goal. For example, discussing problem and form a plan as a team because the outcome and challenges are the same and shared as a team. For me, it is mentally thought to play individual sports where I would only play myself during competition. For instance, you have to be fully motivated and have to go mental skills to overcome the overconfidence, anxiety, and fear. So, example, Roger Federer always making it look easy, but it is tough as check. So, children, finally, I conclude that whereas for team sports, there will be other to guide along with the way, such as the team captain to motivate and another and focus on the goal, set the start of the reason. Thank you.